Okay, thanks for tuning in for Wayne's Electrical then to watch another test time video. Oh dear. The case of test equipment seems to be missing. I have it right here, don't move. There we are then, case of test equipment. Now, if you watched the last video, you will know what I'm just about to dig out of this, and we'll have a talk about it again. It'll just be a quick discussion video on it. I'm not going to be getting any test probes out or jigging it and poking it and whatnot. It'll just be a quick talk about it, what it does, how it does it, and why, and all of that lot. And then I'll put it back in there, get another bit of test equipment out, and that bit of test equipment will be discussed in another video on another day. So let's open up the case of test equipment then and get it out. There it is, it's right at the front there. Okay, I have it. So let's close the case of test equipment then, just to keep everything neat and orderly. There it is. If it will stay upright, lovely. So just so I can get the camera right up to it. So what is that orange bit of kit then? What does it do? Why is it in there? There we are. Let me rotate it around and you can have a look at this. There we are. So, what we have there is another piece of verification equipment, okay? It's not test equipment, it's verification equipment. And what you would use that for is to test a tester. That is why I refer to it as a verification bit of test equipment, because what this would be used for is when you're testing an electrical circuit for voltage, before you get that bit of test equipment and touch it on any circuit, what you really should do is get a circuit which you know is live, definitely, without a doubt, and put that bit of test equipment in that circuit and make sure that the the bit of test equipment works appropriately and all that lot. Okay, that's one way of doing it. That's, we're moving away from that now, because if the bit of test equipment's faulty and you shove that into that circuit, the bit of test equipment could basically explode in your hand and there'll be sparks and flames and goodness knows what else. So, really speaking, we're starting to move away from that now. And what you really should do is use one of those things that you see there up in front of the camera, because it's the much safer option. And, your bit of test equipment's not going to explode and throw sparks and flames everywhere, because this has obviously got a limited amount of current. So, what do you do with it then? Well, we've got these two holes on the front of it. These are test probe holes. And you get your voltage tester. Okay, it'll obviously have two probes on it. You put one in one hole, one in the other hole. And then on the front of here, we've got a series of lights which light up. Okay, and when this lights up, it indicates the amount of voltage that's between these two. So, when you put the probes in, it'll obviously shoot right up to the top. And on this is 690 volts. Okay, this little box of tricks will internally generate 690 volts. Okay, there are a set of batteries in the back of it. And when you put your bit of test equipment in there, of course, and these lights shoot up, your bit of test equipment should say on it somewhere around about 690 volts. It should basically come alive. All the lights light up. If it's got an LCD screen, it should say on there a certain voltage and all that lot. And if it does, then you know your bit of test equipment is working properly. So therefore, this bit of verification equipment would have verified the safe operation and correct operation of your test equipment, so that you now know that it is safe and functional. That's the main thing, it's functional. So when you test that circuit to see if it's, got voltage on it or whether it's dead, you know that when you get that bit of test equipment in there, that it's, what it says is what it is. Okay, so you get it in there and it says, 110 volts or something, you're on a 110 volt circuit, and the fact that it's still live, so not to get your fingers in it, go and isolate it. Okay, and it's similar, on a domestic circuit. You put your test lead in there and get 240 volts or whatever, 230, 245, 221, whatever. Okay, the idea being is that you know that before you get anywhere near that circuit, your bit of test equipment is functioning. Okay, and then after you've done that, you come back to this, put your test probes in there again, okay, just as a double verification. The lights go up, okay, and then again you read off the bit of test equipment so that you know it's still functioning. And then after that, you then put your bit of test equipment away and put this back in the case as well. That's what it does. So this bit of kit then is basically called a proving unit. Okay, 690 volt proving units. Now you can get certain units, and I have seen ones where, no word of a lie, it's about the size of a box of matches. Okay, we are going a bit back in the day now, but it is literally just the size of a box of matches. And it'll have like a 9 volt battery in the back of it. And it'll have the 2 holes, but they'll be situated on the top. And those little units, they only chuck out about 240 volts. Okay, and I've got a feeling those are direct current as well. This one, I do believe, yes, it does actually say on there. It says it just between those 2 test probe holes. We'll see if I can zoom right in on it for you. This one is one of the more advanced units because if I zoom right in on it, you can see on there it says AC waveform. Okay, so this does actually generate an alternating current on it. Okay, the units of years ago, you could only get direct current out of them. But this one does actually internally generate an AC voltage so that your bit of test equipment is simulated in exactly the same way as how it would be if you connected it into an AC circuit. Okay. That little light down the bottom there, I believe that flashes if the batteries are running low. Again, I should test this out because it's been a little while since I've used it. Okay, it's got auto test on there as well. I'm not sure how you operate the auto test function, but there we are. I've got a feeling that's just an internal function. It tests itself every so often, and if that starts flashing, you know the batteries are running low. So there we go. But yes, a verification bit of kit then. Every Sparky should have one. Because like I say, when you get your bit of test equipment out, you're going to check for voltage. The thing that we're moving away from now is just to get that bit of test kit out, get a live circuit that you know is definitely live, and shove your bit of test kit in there. And yeah, you know, if that's been dropped and it's internally damaged, or you've got water in it or whatnot, and you don't know about it, as soon as you touch it in there, that thing's going to go off with a hefty great bang, and you're going to have hold of that when it goes bang. And there we are. But with this, it's obviously a limited current. I think it's like 2 milliamps across there or something like that. It's not too much. I don't know if it says on there. No, it doesn't say what the current is on there, but it would be quite low. It's only like 2 milliamps or something. No, it does not say on the back of it either. But I do know you put 6 AA batteries in the back of that. Loosen the screws off, and there'll be a whole row of batteries in the back of that. And there we go. Okay. So there's 9 volts in there to start with, and then obviously speaking, there's a bit of electronics in there which pumps the voltage up to 690 volts and generates it on an AC waveform as well, so that your bit of test equipment is simulated in exactly the same way as what it would be on a mains alternating current circuit. Okay, like I say, the earlier ones, they only turned out direct current, which is why when I was looking for this one, I made sure that it's one of the more advanced alternating current units. Okay, I do believe you can still get the direct current units. You know, I don't think they've been like, you know, for want of a better word, outlawed. But, you know, a lot of test equipment manufacturers now do, I think, recommend that, you know, to use an AC unit, okay, and not one of the direct current ones. You can use one of the direct current ones, it's just that when you tested it up, your bit of test equipment will be measuring up in direct current, whereas the circuit you want to test may be like a domestic AC circuit. So, you know, the actual verification test is slightly different to what it would be in actual real life, and that is why these were started to be made, so that what your tester picks up on there is exactly the same as what you'd get out the wall socket at home, basically being an alternating current. So that is what that does then. Okay, it's for testing a bit of kit that you'd use to check the voltage. Okay, just so you can verify the correct operation of that bit of test equipment. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not going to be actually doing a demo in this video because this is just having a talk about it, what it does, how it does it, why it does it, and why, if you regularly are checking circuits and voltage, you should have one of these. Okay, price range then. Yeah, again, they vary. You can get cheapo ones. The cheapest ones tend to be those direct current units. Okay, and then you start going up the price range a bit. And then things start getting expensive. The interesting thing about that unit, that is made by that company, Socket and C, but the thing is it made by that company? I'd like to seem to think that it's not. What makes me say that is, this unit, see this orange part on the back here, I've seen another unit very similar to this, the layout, the test probe holes and all of that lot, but this part on the back here is grey, and it's actually got the Mega, the very well known Mega brand name on the front of that, which somehow suggests to me that these are just churned out in mass numbers. Mega would have bought like 10,000 of them, Socket and C would have bought 10,000 of them, and then put their brand names on and then sold them. Now, the cranky thing about that is the internals are probably exactly the same, but this one would be, you know, 10 or 20 pounds cheaper than the Mega one. It's just that Socket and C isn't that well known, unlike Mega. So, you know, I kind of think it's just a case of Mega cashing in, basically. So it pays to shop around. This one's a 690 volt proving unit, and the model number of this one, if I can find it on here, it says somewhere on here. See this grey down the bottom here, it says SP200. Okay. Again, I've got a feeling Socket and C do a direct current unit one. I think that's the SP100. Again, you've got to be careful. Okay, so there you go. SP200 proving unit. That's its official name. It's a proving unit. Just to prove that your bit of test equipment is working, and therefore this injects a voltage in it of up to 690 volts. And there we go. Okay. But like I say, when buying one of these, you can get one of the cheaper direct current units, and then like I say, with this one you can get another unit exactly the same as that, exactly the same as that, but it'll say Mega up the top there, and it costs you, you know, 10 or 20 pounds more than what that one will, because it's just a brand name on it. Internal's exactly the same. It measures 690 volts as it does. It's got the AC sine wave thing on there, the little auto test. Everything's exactly the same apart from the colour of it and the brand name on the front of it, and the price, of course. So we've looked at that then, a proving unit for verifying the correct operation of your voltage tester. Let me pull that camera back now because it's time for Wiggly Finger to choose another bit of test equipment, wrong way, for the next video, which is coming up in the test time playlist. Open up the case of test equipment. Now you might be interested to know what the bit of I know what the bit of test equipment is because I'm attached to Wiggly Finger, of course. So I'm going to open that up, put this back where it normally belongs, in there. There we go. It lives just in that corner. You can see the Socket and C brand name on there. So I'm going to get the old Wiggly Finger, and Wiggly Finger's going to go around in there and stop exactly where I want it to, and whatever it stops on, that is going to be the next bit of test equipment to be discussed in another video on another day. Let me pick the camera up then, and let's get into it with Wiggly Finger. This. Okay, so Wiggly Finger has chosen another piece of equipment which we're going to be discussing in another video on another day. And funnily enough, this does get checked with the proving unit. So there it is. Okay. So there it is. We'll be discussing that in another video on another day. Again, we'll just be talking about it. We won't be doing any tests with it and all that lot. We'll do a demo with that on another day. Okay, so I'm out of here then. Let me close the case of test equipment because that wraps up this video for this one. If you can spare me a big old thumb up, that would be much appreciated. If you want to see that bit of kit that I've chosen, which Wiggly Finger chose, whack that subscribe button right now so that you don't miss out. Okay, and then when that video comes up, you'll get a notification of it, and into it you can go. Okay, so I've got to go. I've just burst into the 16th minute, and I fancy, where's that cup of tea? There it is. I've got a cup of tea on the go. So, I've got to go now. Thanks for tuning in, for watching. Hang in there, and on another day we should be doing another test time video. Cheers for watching this one then.